Hello, I'm Dr. Guy Yatros from Dental Sleep Solutions and DS3, and welcome to the Dental Sleep Medicine Insider. Today, my partner, Rich Drake, and I are going to talk a little bit about how Dental Sleep Solutions and the DS3 Experience came to be. And I think I'll first start about how we got involved in dental sleep medicine. I'm a dentist. I've been a dentist for about 30 years, and 17 years ago or so, one of my patients came in and she said, you know, I got diagnosed with apnea, and they gave me the CPAP, and I can't wear the CPAP. And they gave me this prescription for this dental device. Can you make one? And I said, oh, well, yeah, I think so. Give me a second. And I scurried back to my office and called the dental lab on the phone. They happened to send a little brochure over advertising this dental device. And I called them and said, oh, just take a couple of alginate impressions and a CO bite and send it to us. That's all there's to it. I'm like, okay, fair enough. I sent them the impressions. A few days later, the patient came back. Here you go. Here's your device. And she stuck it in, and I don't know, I charged her a few $100s. And she comes back in the office a couple days later. I'm thinking, oh, something's wrong. And she's like, oh, you've saved my life. I feel so much better. My husband says I'm not snoring. You're just a genius. You're just this wonderful person that can do this. And she called up the doctor. The doctor calls me up, and he says, you know, I didn't know there was someone trained and highly skilled in this area that could do these complex dental devices. Can I start sending you some patients? And I'm like, well, sure, that was fun. And it went fairly well for a while. He sent me some patients. My patient sent everybody in the world to me. But I was, I think I told Rich my stages of learning. I was in the first stage of learning, which is unconscious incompetent. I didn't really know that I didn't know everything because I thought this was easy, and found out it really wasn't that easy. And along the way, we had to learn how to do some things. We had some bite changes and some things I had to deal with, and got to the second stage of learning pretty quickly, which is conscious incompetent. So now I knew I was screwing up, and I didn't know what to do. Really, there were no systems out there, and I get an email one day from the American Academy of Sleep Medicine that says, hey, we're starting a mentorship program. Would you like a mentor? And being frugal, I asked, well, how much does a mentor cost? And they said, no, we're not charging for the mentorship. And I said, I'll take one. And they gave me Rich. That's how Rich and I met. And over the years, he really helped with all his experience doing this to where we got systems in place, and we went through the other stages of learning where we became conscious, competent, and now dental sleep, you don't even have to think about it. You're in that fourth stage of learning, unconscious, competent, where you just go to work and it's easy. And you know, one of the best and worst days maybe when I met Rich, because we've done a lot of good things together. It's taken a big part of our lives, and I'm really happy that Rich is my partner. Rich, you've told me the story, but I guess you could tell your story, how you got involved in dental sleep.
Yeah, well, thank you for your compliment there, Guy. And I will have to echo the fact that other than fishing less these days, we're helping a lot of dentists and we're helping a lot of patients. So I think we both feel very good about that. But, you know, I'm a big fisherman. That's my passion. And I went down to the Amazon jungle, and I spent a week in a tent with a guy snored so loud he scared the monkeys away at night. I was like, my gosh, man, how does your wife sleep with you? And he said, oh, we haven't slept in the same bed for 10 years. And I thought, man, that's weird. So, you know, I went back home. The local lab guy said, hey, there's a course on sleep apnea. Why don't you take it? Okay, well, what is sleep apnea? You know, I didn't even know what sleep apnea was. That's kind of the typical dentist. And the next thing I know, I'm in the lab. You know, I'm in my office there, and I got the lab guy on the speakerphone. I'm like, well, how do you fit this? He said, well, just heat up the thermocryl. And I said, well, what's the thermocryl? You know, and so we got through that first one, like you said, and, you know, we go from those stages. And now I think one of the things that you've done, Guy, is, you know, how do you do this, Rich? And I go, I don't know, you know, you just do it. And Guy puts it into a system, you know, for what we do. You know, we take that unconscious, you know, competence and we put it into a system. So, you know, that's how I got started in it. And then Guy and I hooked up together. And can I tell a story about at the restaurant, Guy?
Sure.
We got time to do that? You know, I'm Guy's mentor, you know, and Guy's like, oh, you know, I don't know what he thinks of me. You know, he probably, you know, this guy kind of weird, but, you know, but we're sitting there at the restaurant and at an AADSM meeting in Baltimore, we were all done, you know, okay, I think we can help each other. And next thing you know, it's raining and we didn't want to walk back a mile in the rain. So we sat back down, and next thing I know, guy's mind, man, he's just going 1,000 miles an hour all the time. He's like, well, how can we help other dentists do this, Rich? And I'm like, well, you know, what are the challenges, guy? And so we started putting all this stuff together. Next thing you know, man, we got a business plan drawn out on napkins. You know, this is really how this happened. And, you know, fast forward 8, 9 years, whatever it is now, and now we've got a whole team dedicated to customer support, to insurance, you know, to all this stuff. So we've gone from this just being an idea on napkins to where we have several hundred people using the software now and doing that. So tell a little bit, Guy, about how that evolved from when we started.
Well, yeah, you're forgetting one of the most important parts where when we decided to do this, we decided we needed a software that was because we wanted a cloud-based software because we felt that was the best way to manage our business model that we put together, which originally was in the form of franchises. And so we thought it'd be a small project, and it turned in, as everything does, a bigger project. You forgot the most important part, that every month, Maria, who did the accounting for my practice, who happens to be my wife, would call up Rich and say, Rich, I know you just worked 50 hours after you saw all your patients on this whole project, and you need to send us a check again, because we had to finance the whole project. And it became working 40 hours a week after hours and writing a check to the business. And then we finally got it together, and we started as a franchise. We sold 15 or 20 franchises, I think, over the years, and it went well. The franchise offices, as a matter of fact, one of our franchise offices here in Florida is going to be on the news. She just texted me this morning that she's going to be, they're going to come do a story on her. She's doing so well. But the problem with the franchise was we would talk to dentists, and we were like, you know, you need to get involved in this. And they'd say, well, yeah, this sounds good. And then we would have to give them this 150-page franchise disclosure document, and then they wouldn't take a phone call anymore because it scared them off. Scared them out the back door. They're like, no, we don't want any part of this. But we'd love to have that software. We'd love to have your help with billing. We'd love you to teach us how to screen, test, treat, and bill our patients, but we just don't, you know, we're not ready for that kind of commitment. And we listen. One of the things that I think we do well at Dental Sleep Solutions is we adapt. We're willing to know when we maybe need to go in a different direction. And about going on 4 years ago, we decided, you know what, we'll listen to you, and we're going to offer all the things that we developed for the franchise as a low monthly fee. And that's what the DS3 Experience is. That's what we put together, and boy, it's just taken off since then. We have hundreds and hundreds of offices, you know, in every state using our systems, and it makes you feel good at the end of the day that we're helping these dentists help their patients. Just think about the number of lives that we've touched, Rick.
Yeah, again, I feel good about that, and you know, we've taken that, and you know, I don't know who came up with the 4 pillars, Guy, but the screen, the test, the treat, and the billing. And that's what we kind of started our educational experience around, because we figured out early on that you've got to find a way to have patients. You know, you've got to find a way to get them tested, because you remember what happened, Guy, in the early days. You know, we had a patient, we said, hey, you snore, you're sleepy, you're tired, you have high blood pressure, you're pre-diabetic. You probably have sleep apnea. You got a neck size of 19. So we sent them to the sleep lab, and they never came back. You know, they never came back. So, you know, I heard you say earlier, Guy, the other day at a meeting where, man, this is a great time to get involved in this, because it's a whole lot easier to do this now than it was back when we started. But, you know, and we're working on and tweaking these pathways to try to get dentists educated so that they can do this in their practice.
Yeah, the challenges, I think, are similar. I mean, it's still screening, testing, treating, billing. That's what we call the 4 pillars. If you have systems in place for that, and team members who can do each one of those, then you'll excel at dental sleep medicine. But it's ever evolving. It's ever changing. Billing's is different now. Actually, it's better. More insurance companies, most of them accept pay for dental devices. Medicare pays for dental devices. They didn't before. Screenings become easier with our digital screening methods that we have. Testing, I mean, that's why we started this whole thing, which mostly was because of the testing. Like you said, they'd go to the sleep lab. Now we can do home sleep testing. So the challenges are similar, but they're changing. And, I'll say that they're easier to overcome, especially with a system like DS3. And that's, where we are today. What the DS3 Experience is basically we provide the 4 paths, which are education, coaching, software, and support, to help support those 4 pillars: screening, testing, treating, and billing. So everything that a dentist needs to excel at this, from the education, the coaching, the software, to billing support, that's what we do. We have a whole team full of people. I mean, when we started this, we were running it out of my dental office, and we used my employees, and now we have a whole corporate office here with dozens of employees that get up every morning. Their whole goal is to help dentists succeed in dental sleep. And I know it's kind of fun for you, Rich, when I work out of the corporate office here, and my primary job is to make sure all of our systems are running, and we're helping these dentists. And you come down every few months for our corporate meetings, and it's always changing, isn't it?
Every time I go, the guy says, "Oh, we added 4 more rooms back here. We were, now we've added 5 more employees." And I'm like, holy cow! It's like being a grandparent and watching the kids grow up underneath you. But we are now a corporate and enterprise level software. We have more than 100,000 page requests a week on our web-based platform, and the software is just the platform that we use to educate dentists and do that. And we made every mistake out there, haven't we, Guy? That's how we learn. Guy said the other day, "Hey, you know how I know that? Ask me, because I've made that mistake before." Because we have. So we are moving. We're adapting. I am in my practice in San Antonio, Texas, right now, in between patients, and I see patients all day, every day, and I've got my finger on the pulse of what's going on in this. So we have developed an unbelievably talented team of people that help support the dentists who are doing this. Because, Guy, you have 1,000 questions, don't you, when you get started with this? And who do you call? Well, you give us a call. That's part of the DS3 Experience.
Yeah, and I think lastly, we'd talk about the future of dental sleep medicine, Rich. I can honestly, sincerely say there's never been a better time for a dentist to get involved in dental sleep medicine, and nor is there probably a better cause to get involved in than dental sleep medicine. I say that for multiple reasons. One is OSA is not going away. I mean, it's the prevalence of obstructive sleep apnea is getting higher and higher every day. 9 out of 10 people roughly that have this problem don't know they have it. Almost 1 million people a year can't wear their CPAP, and that's just of the people who know they have apnea. So the prevalence is through the roof. The standards have gone much more in our direction. When I say that, the AASM and the AADSM standards recognize dental devices as a viable treatment for patients, for mild to moderate and for CPAP intolerant patients. So it's not something that's just on the back burner or fifth in line for therapy. It's one of the 2 first line of therapy treatments, CPAP and dental devices. Public awareness has gone through the roof. I mean, you can't turn on the TV and not hear something about apnea or sleeping problems. The dentists are more involved. The physicians are becoming much more aware, and we still need to raise this awareness, but it's incredible what the amount of talk that's going on with sleep medicine in general. And there's new devices out, there's new techniques, there's new cone beam that now you can really see the airway and such a light that you couldn't see before. So just a lot of things that are making dental sleep medicine, not the least of which is our DS3 Experience, to make this an easier transition for dentists who want to do it. I just think about how much harder it was 17 years ago when we had to send people down to the sleep lab. We didn't have any way of tracking these patients. We didn't have anybody to help us. I sound like I'm preaching to my son. You don't know how good you've got it, but the future's really bright as far as I can tell. Rich, I really believe it's never been a better time to be involved.
Yeah, and we're starting to actually gain some momentum now, Guy. Think of the several hundred members that we have, and they're all more active, they're more engaged. Every one of those members is using the DS3 software, is writing letters to the physicians, about the patient's progress and things like that. So what we're starting to see now is this momentum that's really beginning to grow. And if you're a dentist sitting out there right now thinking about, is this something I should get involved in? The answer unequivocally is yes. The only thing I would do is maybe create a little sense of urgency in you by try to be one of the first few guys in your community that does this, because you always have an upper hand then. That doesn't mean if there's a couple of people in your community doing it that you can't do it better than they can, because you can. And that's what we do, is help dentists do this. So Guy, thank you for all your hard work and for assembling this and running this this business, because we are helping a lot of dentists out there, and they're helping a lot of patients.
Yeah, and thank you all for taking the time to hear a little bit about how we put together the DS3 Experience, a little bit of the history. We're real proud of what we've done. There's still a lot of work to do, and we appreciate you taking the time to read this and listen, not read, watch this part of the Dental Sleep Medicine Insider magazine. And if you see Rich or myself or anybody from DS3 out at a meeting, stop by and say hello to us. We really appreciate hearing your stories about how dental sleep has changed your lives. It's one of the things that makes us want to get up in the morning. And we really know the future is bright for dental sleep medicine, and we're looking forward to helping as we go forward. I'm sure dental sleep's going to continue to grow at a rapid pace. Thank you all for your time.
Thank you, guys.